So my name is Beth Wakis. I'm the director of the Insight Garden program. We started working with prisoners more than 12 years ago at San Quentin State Prison. I started this work in 2002, about a year after the 9/11 attacks, to help me regain my faith in humanity. The then director of the Insight Prison Project turned to me after a full day of training and basically said, "Oh, Beth, why don't you start a garden here?" And I thought, perfect. I've been a lifelong gardener. I love the outdoors, I love nature, and I wanted to give back, so it was the perfect opportunity. Over the years, we've been bringing volunteers in to work with us at San Quentin with all sorts of wonderful skill sets. I'm managing the program, but I don't have all of the skill sets we need for our program, like landscape design, permaculture. We do environmental, ecological literacy work. We help people prepare for leaving prison, and also we obviously teach them what we call outer garden skills and also inner garden skills. And one day I was speaking at an event in Berkeley, and I met a group, two people, Gavin Raiders and Haley Zandy from Planting Justice, and they were very excited about the possibilities of working with us, volunteering with us in the prison. So about 6 or 7 years ago, we invited them in as one of our partners to help do some of the classes and to also start planning for our vegetable garden, which we just installed this past year.
Hello, my name is Gavin Raiders, and I'm the executive director and co-founder of Planting Justice. Beth Wakis was presenting at a conference, and we heard her say that she wanted to start an edible vegetable garden inside the prison and needed help. And so we began volunteering with her program and teaching permaculture, food justice, and urban farming as part of her curriculum. While we were volunteering at San Quentin State Prison, we heard from all of the men how important this garden was for their emotional and spiritual well-being. However, we also heard that they weren't sure how they were going to incorporate this into their lives when they got out of prison and returned to their communities.
Well, hi, my name is Kevin Williams, and I'm a permaculture designer here at Planting Justice. And how I became an employee here at Planting Justice, I was in San Quentin in the Insight Gardening program. And so Beth Wakis, which is the director of the program, she started introducing us to interesting people. And Gavin and Haley were one of the groups that came in and spoke with us, like around 2009. Still had about 3 years left on my sentence, so they said they were starting like a backyard gardening thing in the backyards, so they had a good vision for it. So by the time I came home in 2012, they had formed Planting Justice. So I seen a bulletin on the board that says, when you come home, we got some gardening work, permaculture design, starting off at $17.50 for the guys that's been in the Insight Gardening program doing the training. So I came home and I was just sitting there for a while, and Beth called me. It's home maybe about a week. So Beth said, "Why haven't you called Gavin and Haley? They're waiting on you." But I was just so amazed just to be back home and just soaking it up. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I called Gavin, and he come on down. It's around February 20th, 2012, and I got hired on, and I've been there ever since.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Wilmer Elton Osborne, and I paroled from San Quentin March 1st, 2014, after being incarcerated for a total of 8 years and some change. I did my last 6 months in the Insight Gardening program with a lady who founded it named Beth Wakis. How you doing? The Insight Gardening program really gave me a great awareness to which I never knew was inside of me, as far as my inner gardening and my outer gardening as well. They gave me a chance to get some gainful employment, and I started off at $17.50 an hour which is not bad after doing a 10-year stint inside of San Quentin and all the other prisons they shipped me to and from over that 8 years. And I've been pretty successful since I've come home.
It all started back when I was living in the city of Richmond. I went to Quentin, H unit, and maybe like about 8 months into my time, you know what I'm saying, I ran into a lady called Beth Wakis. She came to us, you know what I'm saying, and basically let us know that, you know what I'm saying, if you really want to change, you know what I'm saying, there's work out there for you. For a minute, I was skeptical, like, okay, I sign up, is this gonna really happen, you know what I'm saying? I was skeptical for a minute, you know what I'm saying, until she started coming, you know what I'm saying, and teaching us a lot about, you know what I'm saying, how to grow our own food and stuff like that.
Every time I went to prison, I lost everything. I lost my father, I lost my mother, I lost my brother, my younger brother. So I wanted change, but I didn't think a program would do it. So what I did was I got on my knees and I prayed. Asked God if he's for real, help me to change this time. Because I didn't want to come home the same way I came to prison. And that was broken, losing everything. Didn't have nobody that really cared for me or loved me.
I was incarcerated in the San Quentin State Prison, and on the bulletin board, it said it was a program called the Inside Garden Program. And they said if we come to the Inside Garden Program, it's a 90-day program, once you'll be released, you can get a job being a landscaper, farmer, or gardener. You can actually receive a certificate and go talk to this gentleman here, Mr. Gavin Raiders. And so we all thought it was bull, so we said we don't have anything else to lose, so let's go to the class. We went to the class, took the program, we graduated, got our certificates, and we came out, talked to Mr. Gavin Raiders, and he started us off at $17.50 an hour.
So one of the differentiators for the Insight Garden program is that we have a component to our curriculum called the Inner Garden. And that is really using nature, you know, nature is our best teacher, and using that as a way to look inside of ourselves and really discover what new gardens people want to grow inside. And it combines a variety of ecotherapy, it combines brain science, you know, how do people best learn? So we design all of our lesson plans now based on the best ways people can learn and have their transformational or aha moments. But more importantly, it's just this self-discovery that happens, this idea that we can grow our own garden, and that's the garden within, and that's the garden from the heart.
This work building gardens for low-income people is tremendously healing on a personal level, working in the soil, working outside, and really seeing the tangible benefits of your work that's transforming barren landscapes into thriving ecosystems, sometimes in a single day. It's also incredibly inspiring for our community, many of whom are low income and struggle with poverty and hunger, to have formerly incarcerated men who have transformed their lives as inspirations. You know, we have a lot of youth that we work with at 3 public high schools in Oakland. And it's one thing for myself as a white male to be in there talking about what food justice is and the importance of growing food. And it's a whole nother thing to have adult black men who have been through the system, who have transformed their lives, to be mentors to youth who are also facing many of the same issues that the men on our staff face as youngsters, and that is violence and incarceration and the stress of poverty.
We've had 2 significant research studies done on the program, both graduate level degree studies. One was a study I did on the impact of a garden on the physical environment and social climate of a prison yard. And the other study has just been completed around that studied the level of eco-literacy as somebody's level of understanding the environment and the natural world grows, they also grow as human beings. And both of them have very solid outcomes. One of the very interesting ones is the garden is the only place on the prison yard at San Quentin where all the races can meet and be in a diverse environment without any fear of retribution from other people on the yard. That was a huge finding.
There's so many programs, thankfully, that offer support to people while they're incarcerated, but there are very few, if none perhaps, besides Planting Justice, that actually have that inside-outside connection where what people are learning on the inside is directly contributing to their employability, and there's a clear pathway from incarceration to living wage jobs when they get out.
You know, being in prison, I've been this way, you know, all my life. And if you're just being yourself, you know, you won't have no problem, you know, going to work, exercising, reading your books, you know, and it's the same type of situation to where if you're looking for trouble, even out here on the street, you will find it, you know. So it's just that I never really had a problem in there. Actually, what it did was gave me a chance to even sharpen my tools even more as far as being a man, you know, being a better worker, you know, a better husband, a better son. You got a lot of time to think about, you know, how to be better instead of blaming someone else, you know, because I've never been a person to blame someone else. You know, anything happen, you know, I played a role in it. You know, maybe I didn't start it, but maybe I didn't handle it the right way either, to where I was sitting in prison, you know, so, but, you know, the Lord is good. You know, He's blessed me to, you know, come back home, you know, get my family back and things, and it really hurts that, you know, my wife and kids really did the time, you know, just being away and her having to be mom and dad, you know, for like 11 years out of my life, you know, so I really have an appreciation for her. Even to this day, she still loves me. We're still together, you know, 25 years. And, you know, we've had our ups and downs, but, you know, we're still trying because I'm finally finding, you know, some peace in my life to where I feel like I just don't have to push so hard where I have to make it happen, because it's not by me, it's by the higher being that makes things happen, you know. It's not by my way. My way, I usually try, just usually never goes right. Yeah.
Of course, a job isn't the only thing that people need when they get out of prison, and that's one of the hard lessons we've learned. It's really hard for someone to come out, even if they have a job, when they don't have a place to live and they don't have the kind of support in the community that they need besides their coworkers. And so what Planting Justice has been able to do over the past year is expand our reentry program with 5 other community-based organizations collaborating with us on a project called Pathways to Resilience. So not only are people getting access to a living wage job, but now we have a full-time case manager who makes connections to housing providers and social service providers.
So we had a gentleman in our class a few years ago named Al, and he came in, and we go around the circle inside the classroom and people say their name and how they're feeling. Well, Al said he was numb. And then about a year later, we were doing a check-in, and he looked at us straight in the eye and he said, I am just happy. Like, I'm happy for the first time in a really long time. I can feel my feelings again. And as we all know, feeling your feelings, going inward, is the first, level of work that needs to happen to heal ourselves.
The lack of social services and community-based programs for formerly incarcerated people directly contributes to the high recidivism rates and the high violence rates.
Time and time again, we're amazed when we see the men treating the little critters and the flowers with such love and care. We know that they have the capacity for compassion and love and care with other human beings as well. And so the beginnings of that for some men can happen in the garden, and then that can grow just like a flower would grow.
Prison has taught me a great deal. And it has carried me. It made me feel whole, like a person that I should have been a long time ago. I'm able to give to people and feel real good about it. I can't wait to see a homeless guy standing on the street to give him money, or just say, you know what, God bless you, have a great day today. And that makes me feel good, because I know that if I had that in my life 25 years ago, it wouldn't have took me this long.
It changed all our lives. Everybody that got out, our success rate is 100%. Nobody's been back. And I've been working for Planting Justice now for 2.5 years. If I can do it, you can too.
And I'm 43 years old, so it's like, it has to be something that's gonna really happen in my life if I just keep on this path that I'm going, from the Insight Gardening program, to Planting Justice and Pathways to Resilience. These are programs that help enrich a person's skills and just make you just want to give back. Because I love my community. You know, I'm from Oakland, and there's many communities like Oakland that need gardens like this.
This is an example of Planting Justice's work in my backyard. They planted these beautiful permaculture vegetable beds for me this past summer. And I actually have great squash, so I'm going to go ahead and get one of my beautiful yellow squash out here. And we have peppers and lots of bees. We planted some Thai basil, which brings in the bees, and so there's lots of pollination going on. Basil and tomatoes, and even in here we have peppers, and there's some garlic as well.
The one thing I really admire about Planting Justice is that I think it's born out of a real desire to see people gain skills and be able to enter back into day-to-day life with a full-time job that pays really well, a working wage. And I love that they're trying to do that without a lot of grant support. I think their goal is to become 75% independent. And I really honor that, because then they can stay true to what they started the business out to be.
We are proving that this model works in Oakland. We're able to generate enough revenue to create living wage jobs for 22 full-time staff. And we believe that this can be done and should be done in every city across the United States.
It gave me a lot of confidence back, you know what I'm saying, and just my ego just, I wake up every morning determined, ready to work. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning.
I'm very humbled to be given this opportunity to be successful out here in society as well.
I just want to say thank you, Planting Justice, for helping me continue to stay changed on a daily basis. And for anybody that don't know, you need to get this job here, man. You need to get involved with guys that's coming home, that's changing their lives forever.
I'm about giving back. You know, I took so much from the community. I just feel it's time for me just to, give back. It's actually been time. So I'm just playing a little catch up, just doing my part.